Hey, everybody, this is Pastor Bryan Ross from Grace Life Bible Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'm coming to you with a midweek message. I usually try to record one of these a week and release them on Thursday morning. Haven't been able to do that here lately. It's been since the end of September since I've been able to do a video. Part of that was related to some travels that my wife and I did early in October. The other part is related to family schedules. My son, who has his learner's permit, had a mishap with one of our vehicles. So for a while there in October, we were down to one, and it just really made for some logistical problems for getting around and getting everybody in the family where they need to be at the times they need to be there. Anyway, and then we had our Bible conference last weekend, and so there was a lot of preparation and scurrying around and so forth to get ready for that. But I do want to try to get back into the habit of making one of these videos a week just to continue to produce more content and keep people updated on the ministry. Our featured book for the month of October and November, seeing this is going to be released on October 28th, is going to be my book, Rightly Dividing E.W. Bullinger, Assessing His Life, Ministry, and Impact. You can pick this up from Dispensational Publishing House directly or by ordering from Amazon, where the Kindle is also available, as you can see right here. But this book is about the life and ministry of Bullinger. And the major significant contribution of this book is to really dig into the historical development of the Acts 28 position and how that came into existence and what Bullinger's role in that was. Those of you who have followed the Grace History Project, which I'm going to talk more about here in a minute, are familiar with this story and how I wrote some lessons on rightly dividing Bullinger, and how you have to discern between the early Bullinger, the Bullinger of before 1900, with the Bullinger of post 1900. So our featured book for this last week of October and the month of November is going to be my book, Rightly Dividing E.W. Bullinger. So if you want to help support the ministry, you can pick up a copy of this from Dispensational Publishing House. Please check out the description under this video. I also want to remind you about our Rumble channel, Grace Life Bible Church on Rumble. We are up to 146 subscribers. So this is up from where we were at the end of September when I last did one of these videos. And our mindset behind this was to establish an alt text site should something happen to our YouTube ministry. So since this year, we've been uploading all of the teachings from midweek and then also from the church to this channel. We have not gone back and backdated anything older than the year 2021. But if you are interested in alt text sites, we would encourage you to migrate into this platform also, or at least establish it as an alternative to our YouTube channel. So if you're into alt text sites, please check that out. The next thing I want to talk about is the Bible conference. We just had a Bible conference this past weekend, October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th at Grace Life Bible Church. And the theme of the conference this year was Philemon, Grace in Action. And we ended up with a surprise speaker we had planned and announced for Brother Joel Hayes from Fellowship Bible Church in Orlando, Florida, and Brother David Osteen from Hope Bible Church in Jackson, Georgia. Both of those men made it. And then we had a surprise message last minute, sort of by David Reed from Columbus Bible Church in Columbus, Ohio. I gave him one of my time slots, and I just took the one about I beseech thee. Anyway, we have a whole playlist now available on our YouTube page. I'm going to put a link to this in the description if you are interested in getting this audio and these videos. The audio is a little bit low on some of these. We are still struggling with this situation with our audio at Grace Life Bible Church, and we have been for some time. We are trying very hard to fix that. We've called in professionals. We thought we had it fixed a couple times, and some new developments just this week may present some other avenues to explore as to why things aren't working, but we do apologize for that. And I do think, though, it's passable. You should be able to get the doctrine and the content. This was a great weekend of study. I appreciate the men that spoke at the meeting, and we commend this to you. There'll be a link to this playlist in the description for this video. I also want to talk about something that I just finished up 2 days ago. And that was a rebroadcasting of all 26 of the studies that I did back in 2014 and 2015 on the issue of Sunship Edification. Sunship Edification is making something of a comeback here in recent days, and I was getting some questions about it, so I thought what I would do is rebroadcast those. So we also have a Sunship Edification playlist that has all of the videos in that series, starting with Grace History Project Lesson 143, and then ending with Lesson 167. Folks, you need to understand that Sunship Edification was a development within the Grace movement spearheaded by Keith R. Blades in his quarterly newsletter, Enjoy the Bible Quarterly. And that really started in earnest halfway through 2001 and then running through the rest of the quarterly. If you're familiar with Blades' ministry, say from his book-length works, Satan and His Plan of Evil, which is the most popular of his books, and as well as a booklet he did on the Gospel of Grace, Make It Plain, Make It Clear, and something he wrote about what is heaven like, and a couple of his other booklets on a simple survey. If that's the extent of your familiarity with Blades' ministry, you're not aware of the quarterlies. It was in the quarterlies that Blades set forth the issues of Sunship Edification. And then Mark Newbold and Mike McDaniel carried those issues forward, and they have been making something of a comeback. So what I did in 2014 and 15 is I went through the teaching notes of the primary propagators of Sunship Edification and taught from their notes the system of hierarchical curriculum structure that that is indicative of Sunship Edification. And then we also talked about the key components of it, the key concepts. We looked at where it came from, where the ideas that end up in modern Sunship Edification, where did they come from? And then we traced a historical survey all the way through Blades' quarterlies and really laid out in detail. So there are some that have accused me of being, not, or of misrepresenting Sunship Edification. And I would just say, I don't think that that's really very possible when I am quoting extensively page after page after page from the teaching notes and periodicals of the primary teachers and propagators of this view. I think there are many problems with this view that are laid out in detail throughout this series on Sunship Edification. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, you will be able to find this playlist also in the description for this video. And then that brings me to an announcement that I want to make. I've experimented with rebroadcasting old material. Those of you who are familiar with the ministry, you might know also Norman Normal 55. Norman Normal 55 on YouTube was a gentleman who used to attend our assembly and then moved away to another state. And Norm was a great saint. He recorded all of the content from the Grace History Project, and for the first, I think maybe year or term of From This Generation Forever, and then he put it on his YouTube page. Well, in those days, I didn't really know a ton about YouTube, and I was content to just let Norm do it, and I could share the links on Facebook and social media. But there's a renewed interest also in the rest of the Grace History Project. So as I was rebroadcasting the 26 studies from this project on Sunship Edification, I was having such good feedback that the thought occurred to me, well, I should take all of the Grace History Project lessons and I should rebroadcast those as well, because there seems to be an interest in doing that. So moving forward, starting next week, which will be the first week in November, obviously, I think that's right. Yeah, be starting on November 1st, on Monday, November 1st, I'm going to start rebroadcasting Grace History Project lessons. And what I think I'm going to do is do 3 a week. I'm going to do one Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to reserve Thursday for the release of these midweek videos, current content and information. But on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to start re-releasing, rebroadcasting the Grace History Project videos. And so if you have never gone through the Grace History Project was a multi-year study, and as it says right here, tracing the abandonment and the resurgence of Pauline truth from Paul to the present. This is a master's level church history class from a mid-Acts Pauline dispensational point of view. All right. Now, when I first started the class in, I believe it was the fall of 2010, I had no idea what it was going to turn into as time went on. But it has since, attracted many viewers, people who are interested in the history of dispensationalism, specifically mid-Acts Pauline dispensationalism, as we trace in this class the abandonment and the resurgence of Pauline truth. I don't think Pauline truth was lost and then rediscovered or found. I don't think that's the right way of looking at it. It wasn't lost like, oh, geez, where did I put my car keys? Like I would lose my car keys. No, there was a willful abandonment that occurred, that was started to occur while Paul was still alive, and then a systematic resurgence that occurred in history. And that's what this class is about. So if you are interested in church history, if you are interested in church history from a Pauline point of view, I would encourage you to like this video, share this video, tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody that you think might be interested in this, that I'm going to be rebroadcasting these starting Monday, November 1st at a rate of 3 a week. I can't count. I just saw 4, but 3 a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, until we are done with that re-release. So this will also be a way to migrate those videos onto the church's YouTube channel as well. So we're going to see how that goes. And I plan on starting that again, as I said, on Monday, November 1st. We're going to reserve Thursday for the release of these videos. So there's a lot of just things here that we're going to be doing. We're going to be representing information that we've taught in the past. And again, if you haven't gone through these videos, you need to check them out. They will be very helpful. I've heard from many folks over the years that the Grace History Project videos were almost like a grace apologetic. In other words, a presentation of the truth from a mid-Acts Pauline view that really shows people that there have been people throughout history that have believed similar things. We look at how it was lost, how the church system of Christendom was established in churchianity, and then how Pauline dispensationalism was systematically had a systematic resurgence. And you're going to want to check out those videos. I also want to remind you before I go here about the podcast that my wife and I have established. And we are very tardy on a new episode. We apologize for that. We were hit with COVID and then the conference and traveling and just all sorts of things have been sort of getting in the way lately. But with November around the corner, we are very cognizant of trying to start that back up and releasing one of those a week. So you can check this podcast out. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes, the two main platforms. It's on a whole bunch of other ones. I don't even know what all of them are. That it gets published to when we make a new one. So if you haven't checked out the podcast, please do that as well. I think you'll find that interesting. And then last, before I go, I want to remind you about our website, gracelifebiblechurch.com, where you can get all the information. There's a message archive here. I'm going to click on online messages, and you'll be able to see that there's an archive of messages here. Here it's broken down by different series. Then it's broken down by year, and this archive goes all the way back to the year 2007 when Grace Life Bible Church was established. So we have tons of content on our online messages. We also have our School of Theology archive that has all the Sunday school messages. It's got From This Generation Forever. It's got the original format of the Grace History Project and a whole bunch of other mini-series here and lessons for you to check out, as well as a link to all of our past Bible conferences, again, going all the way back to our first one in 2008 on God and man's government, which, by the way, might be interesting for you to check out. I don't know, given everything going on in the world right now, might be interested for you to go all the way back to 2008 and check out that conference. So there's a lot of information for you here. And before you go, just a reminder here, if you haven't done it, pick up a copy of Rightly Dividing E.W. Bullinger, Assessing His Life, Ministry, and Impact. Check that out. You won't be sad that you did. There's also a link here to a video on Dispensational Publishing House, a promo video that I made. So remember about our conference messages playlist in the description, the Sunship Edification playlist in the description. Look for coming up next week the rebroadcast of the Grace History Project, as well as hopefully another episode of the Just Grace It podcast with my wife and I. And as always, if you haven't already done so, guys, subscribe to our channel, ring the alarm bell here, stay current with the ministry as best you're able. And before you go, if you've never trusted Jesus Christ, if you've never relied exclusively on the death, burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ as the only total, complete payment for your sin, you need to stop the effort, stop the performance, stop the law keeping, stop the religious works, and trust and rely exclusively on Jesus Christ and his death for your sin on the cross and his resurrection from the dead. He'll give you eternal life as a free gift. You'll be sealed by the Holy Spirit unto the day of redemption, and you'll be translated out from underneath the power of darkness and into the kingdom of his dear Son. Trust Jesus Christ today before it's everlasting too late. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.